Hey guys, so a friend of mine had asked me the other day, or about what my thoughts were on some of the gas masks out there. Well, SCBA-based respirators out there that firefighters used, and if it was possible to kit people up with these type of respirators and having them be set up to take 40 millimeter, regular NATO, Stanag, whatever filters. And the thing is, and of course, this is largely for, prepper, off-label use, whatever, because the different filters people are going to end up with are going to not serve under compliance and certified whatever. So there are some filters that you can use these with that they will be in, compliance for OSHA and blah, 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 and everything else and run in their certified capacity. But that's getting a bit into the weeds, but I'll mention one filter for a couple of these masks that can fall into approved category of. But anyway, more importantly, so what we're looking at here is I'm going to show you some of the different respirator options available that are in this category, right? So what we're looking at here, this is an MSA Ultra Elite, and this one here is a silicone-based mask body. They do make a high-car rubber one that's a little bit more like butyl, whatever. This is fine. This is good. This is a decent mask. The only thing about this one, and this one has the rubber harness. You can find them with the Kevlar harness. When these are used for firefighting, they'll usually have the Kevlar harness on them and be a slightly different config. Now, what you'll notice is the way the lower, as I'm going to call it on this mask, is set up. This is set up. You can see the threads there. This is set up for 40 millimeter filters. A lot of these are sold and set up for the different SCBA systems that they go with, and there's a lot of different configs that this is available in, but this is a mask that you can find for sale on the open market, used, sometimes new old stock even, without having to pay anywhere near the retail, which is very expensive on these. You can find this in this configuration where it's set up to take regular filters, okay? And we'll get into a couple of suggestions on those in a bit here. But this is one. So this is your MSA Ultra Elite, right? I'll give you a little bit better, more look at that. So this is what you're looking at here for this one. I've got two of these. I paid probably like $50 a piece for these. It's fine. You cannot use this without approved filters that go with this, that were certified with this in a commercial capacity. But if it's you protecting yourself, doing prepper shit, whatever, it's fine, right? It's a good mask for that. However, one thing I will say, that this is a very long mask, and then when you put a filter on it, you're coming out even further, right? So this one is one I would err on the caution of wearing if you've got any level of chest protrusion or whatever. You're going to be leaning forward more when you need to look down in front of you. So this is one where I would say, consider those factors if this is what you're going to purchase, or if you're looking for something. This you can use this, but it's just, you're going to have a pretty long mask that you're wearing, so you're not going to have much downward head motion possible, and that is something that you need to consider, because when you're walking, you got to look down in front of you, and this and that and the other, and blah blah blah. So keep that in mind with this guy. Otherwise, it's a decent mask. Just again, the caution here with this one is you have to look out for how this ass end of this thing, how this lower is set up and configured. Usually, if it's already got this and it's already set up for your standard exhalation valve, it's not like a pressure on demand, whatever type deal like some of these will be. So you're fine there. One of the next ones here I want to show you is going to be one that a lot of you that are firefighters are already going to recognize quite well, and may even still probably have just stopped using, but may still be using if you're volunteer fire department. This is a fully kitted out Scott AV 2000. Okay, and what's special on this one, right? So I do have the VPU added on it, which these, you can get the VPUs for like $50 sometimes if you go looking. This might even be an opposite-ended one with the wrong clamp and the this and that and the other fitted on it. But, you can make do and sort your stuff out. This has the the Kevlar head harness on it. As you can tell, it's pretty worn. Still serviceable. The lens on this, visor, whatever, isn't too terribly scuffed on this one. You don't find these often where they're not scuffed up. This one just happens to be in good condition. You know, these AV2000s, sometimes you find more in this shape than the 3000s like this. The key thing here is this bung on the front of the mask, okay? And this just basically clips in here, the same as the SCBA regulator would, right? And this just twists in and locks like your SCBA regulator would. This is a factory part from Scott. You can see it says Scott on it. All right, and this has your exhalation valve, your 40 millimeter threads that take your standard 40 millimeter filter, and your speech diaphragm, okay? And that's the key thing that makes this usable for regular use as a gas mask. It's already set up for it. It's good to go. The exhalation valve is in here too, so you don't have to worry about different versions of that. That's in this piece already. These are just the speech diaphragms, which is why the VPU, voice amplification unit, or voice projection unit rather, clips onto a clamp that goes on here because it's clamping over the speech diaphragm. Just like on the military gas masks when they clip on or screw onto the front over top of that speech diaphragm. Most good gas masks and even industrial respirator to gas mask style industrial respirators will have a speech diaphragm to help amplify speech. It's only really the half face respirators you see without it. The cheap full face respirators won't have it either, like your basic 3M 68,000 series or something, or 6800 series or whatever, won't have something like that, typically. Some of the North respirators don't, some do, just depends, right? But we're all talking, these are all, you know, SCBA gas mask style face pieces, so they're going to have these nice options, and you can get them fairly cheap. Then the next one is this one's successor, okay, and that's going to be one that a lot of you have seen and probably use, which is the AV3000, okay, and mine is kitted out pretty well. Again, I have an older model of the adapter on this one. This one, I think, has a speech diaphragm in it. This one may not. If it does, it's under here. This is just all rubberized, so it's a little bit different than the other setup. Same thing, just twists in and clips in like the other one does, and it locks. Again, same deal. These are speech diaphragms. These are not exhalation valves, they're speech diaphragms. The exhalation valve is actually in this piece in the center, that clips in on these masks because they were primarily set up with SCBA, so the regulator would go in the front, etc., etc. This, you know, being the newer one, this is actually, I think this is technically a double seal because the way this is set up has the full inner seal on it here. I know it's hard to tell on the camera because I'm a little too close, but you can see that it's like a double seal. So you may not see this configuration as much, but these are out there, right? This one's a bit scuffed up. I've tried to polish and clean it as best I can. I have to be careful about that because some of these have anti-fog properties on them, so you have to be careful about what that's going to do. General cleaning with these, even the manufacturers recommend like soap and water and shit for regular cleaning, which is fine. I've used a bit of window cleaner on these before. That's also fine because the chemicals in it are diluted so much that it's not going to hurt anything. But generally, like soap and water is what you clean masks like this with when they're just dirty. Most of the time, you know, if it's contaminated, then you got a different situation on your hands. But you know, Dawn dish soap diluted in water is your friend for this stuff. These are all disassemblable. There's always service parts, so just like with any other mask. So that's the deal with these style. Now I do want to make a mention here on another mask that is noteworthy, and these are used with SCBA sometimes on a low pressure adapter regulator, but they are also a generally good mask that are sold under a couple different brands. They're sold under Scott or Micronel Safety, which same thing. This is a Scott M120, okay? This is not a firefighter SCBA, but these have been used in hazmat response situations that have involved firefighter, you know, first response to hazmat. So they have been used. They've been used in the U.S. They've been used in other countries. This one's actually made in Finland, but these have been used. Some still use these. It just depends. This is a very, very good mask. This is a 5-point, but it fits and feels like a 6-point. This one has the rubber harness on it. They do make a version of this with the Kevlar harness. This is basically the same thing as a Scott Pro mask. If you've ever used or worn one of those, it's basically the same thing, except this has been changed, and whatever else is very, very similar. Very good mask. You can set it up for either side. You can find these in good condition on eBay, probably if you look, for less than $100. They're very often just over $100. And again, takes 40mm filters like most of the gas masks do. Very, very good option. The reason I suggest that one over like some of the M40s and the MCU2s, they're usually very yellowed when you find them. They're serviceable, they're fine, but that silicone visor is starting to deteriorate. You'll find them more where they're yellowed, and then some of them even fogged over, oxidized pretty badly, and so that's not a bad option, but you can do better for the same money. The only reason I'm not suggesting the M40s right now, even though they're a wonderful mask, is that you're right now at the time of making this video, you're seeing a lot of like the ILC Dover ones as full kits being sold for like $160, $150. Don't need to pay that kind of money for them when there's these other options available, and you may even have access to it. Good filter option is going to be this guy right here. This is a 3M FR57. This is a particulate and multi-chemical filter. That's all your type ratings there. You can look up what each of these means, and you can probably pull the data sheet from 3M on this. As far as I am aware, this will work in a certified capacity even with I believe both the AV2000 and 3000, but you'd have to confirm, with your rep if that's going to be the case, or if 3M will answer you, or, whichever. Or if you go to purchase these, if you can see that they're bundled together like this from an authorized vendor, then you'll know this can be run in a certified capacity. Something else too, right? You only need this when you need this, right? So you only need this when you're dealing, with chemicals, you're dealing with whatever. You don't need this for tear gas. You don't need this for pepper spray. You don't even need this for when you're dealing with mold and asbestos, because that's in a particulate-based capacity. There's not a chemical thing with that stuff. And tear gas and pepper spray, it's organic. It's not a nasty chemical. It's horribly reactive to us, we're horribly reactive to it, but you don't need a multi-chemical filter for that. What's good for that is what I'm going to show you here in just a minute. This. Okay, this is the style of filter that will do just fine for tear gas, just fine for OC pepper spray. Right here, this is just a 3M. I believe this is let me see here. Canadian made filter. This is an HE particulate filter, okay? So basically the same thing as a P3 or P100 filter. There are some specific, whatever, stupid technicalities, but basically, this is good for tear gas and pepper spray. It'll clog a little bit quicker if you fucking run through a bunch of, don't get deliberately targeted by OC spray a million times, because this will clog quickly. But this is not what you're needing this for. Heavily, anyway. This is to get you past the bad area of the bad stuff. This is not to, be in deliberately in hordes and clouds, whatever. This is to get you safely through an area. So that's what that's good for. Just figured I wanted to mention these real quick. This video's gone on long enough. I intended to make this shorter, and I could not. But here you go. These, you can find these online. I've bought these by the case before. Still in date. Pretty cheaply by the case, if you know where to look. This, a little more expensive, can be found. Just don't buy counterfeits. Buy real sealed, packaged, real stuff, right? Rather you buy from a surpluser than somewhere random online. that you don't know what it is, right? Stay away from Amazon with this stuff because they just there's issues with it. Just don't, right? Okay, final note here, and this is dragging on past 15 minutes. I'm sorry. Expiration dates. Yes, they're kind of relative, but they matter more on one type of these filters than another. This guy, you need to be a little bit more careful. If he's a few years out of date and you're doing this for personal use, not commercial, whatever, blah 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 blah, right? This is all you and your family stuff. This is not I'm doing work and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this when I work for a company. If you're working for yourself, you might be all right, but if these are a couple years out of date and they're sealed and they're vacuum packed and whatever, cool, right? Not going to hurt you. Even this one, I know where this came from. I know this was originally sealed. I opened the thing. Nothing's going to happen to this sitting on the shelf for a while. It's fine. I know its history after I bought it, right? All good. But do watch the dates. You don't want to be sourcing these when they're 10 years expired regularly. If it's a couple of years, you're all right. But just keep that in mind. This guy, as long as he's not stored in somewhere hot and moldy and shitty and nasty its entire life, if this bastard is 5 years out of date or almost 10 years old and he's still seeing you crack it open, not going to really hurt you. Why? This fucker's just filter pleat. Okay? You're sucking on a filter. Right? You are sucking on filter pleat. This is not going to hurt you. This has some stuff that does things in it, and some activated whatchamashits in here, and some other mashits in here, and some thingamajigs and whatchamacallits in here. And we don't ever get to know what the breakdown time is on the thingamawhatchamashitsamaccallits, so you don't want to just don't do stupid stuff, okay? Cool. Here's my little TED Talk. Y'all have fun. If you need to buy certified... Hey, look, my gut made appearance. I'm the Pillsbury Dough bastard. If you need to buy brand new certified respirators with matching filters and blah, 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 I have that. I sell that. I do a thing, right? If you need gloves, I got that. I don't sell these yet. Publicly, commercially, but I'm working on it. But I can point you in the direction of where to get and what to get. I do a lot of exam gloves, regular to super high risk stuff. In that regard, I do iPro and stuff. So I can help you on that front. But I just wanted to put this out there because I don't gatekeep knowledge. I'd rather you be safe and buy something. Even if you don't buy it from me, whatever you buy, I want you to be safe. So when you're going to buy this stuff that's perfectly viable, in the right situations, right? Disclaimers, situational stuff only. I just want you to have, some safe options to choose from. If you got any questions, let me know. I will help you out in whatever way I can. I don't know everything about everything, but I know a lot about some things. And I know some things about a lot of stuff, right? And there's other directions I can point you into for stuff I don't know. And where to get some real training on some stuff, too. Because I work with some awesome people that do some awesome shit. So, y'all have a goody-goody, and take care.